In the heart of the African savanna, where the sun dipped into the horizon and painted the sky with hues of crimson and gold, there lived a young man named Emeka. He was a wanderer, a stranger in a strange land, with a past shrouded in mystery. Emeka had been chased away from his community, forced to flee with nothing but the cloth on his back and the weight of his secrets. As he journeyed through the dense forest and vast plains, Emeka's behavior grew stranger by the day. He would laugh uncontrollably at the most inopportune moments, and then suddenly fall into deep contemplation, as if the weight of the world rested on his shoulders. His eyes would gleam with an otherworldly intensity, and his words would carry a wisdom that belied his years. The people of the community he stumbled upon were both fascinated and intimidated by Emeka's enigmatic presence. They had never seen anyone like him before, and they didn't know what to make of him. But as they watched him perform feats that seemed almost supernatural, they began to whisper among themselves, "This man is not of this world. He is a god, sent to bless us or curse us." And so, Emeka's reputation grew, and the people of the community began to treat him with a mixture of reverence and fear. They would offer him food and shelter, and seek his counsel on matters of great importance. But Emeka knew that he was no god, and that his strange behavior was merely a symptom of the secrets he kept hidden. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, Emeka's legend grew, and the people of the community came to depend on him for guidance and protection. But little did they know, Emeka's past was shrouded in darkness, and his presence in their lives would soon unleash a chain of events that would change their community forever. Watch as Emeka's story unfolds in The Mysterious Stranger. As Emeka settled into the community, he began to notice the strange looks and whispers that followed him everywhere. The villagers would point and stare, their eyes filled with a mix of fascination and fear. Emeka tried to ignore it, but it was hard to shake off the feeling that he was being watched all the time. One day, while Emeka was walking through the village, he stumbled upon a group of villagers gathered around a large tree. They were talking in hushed tones, and their eyes seemed to be fixed on something in the distance. Emeka followed their gaze and saw a massive gorilla emerging from the forest. The gorilla was enormous, with thick fur and piercing eyes that seemed to glow with an inner fire. The villagers gasped in terror, and some of them ran away screaming. But Emeka stood his ground, his eyes locked on the gorilla. He could feel a strange energy building up inside him, a power that he didn't understand. The gorilla charged towards the village, its massive feet pounding the ground. Emeka stood still, his eyes never leaving the gorilla's face. As the gorilla approached, Emeka raised his hands, and to the amazement of the villagers, the gorilla stopped in its tracks. It let out a deafening roar, but Emeka stood firm, his eyes blazing with an inner light. Slowly, the gorilla began to back away, its eyes fixed on Emeka's face. The villagers watched in awe as Emeka seemed to command the gorilla to retreat. When the gorilla finally turned and lumbered back into the forest, the villagers cheered, and they lifted Emeka onto their shoulders. From that day on, Emeka's reputation grew even more. The villagers began to see him as a hero, a man with supernatural powers who could command the forces of nature. They begged him to stay and protect them from the dangers that lurked in the forest. Emeka agreed, and soon he became the leader of the village. The villagers built him a palace, and they crowned him king. Emeka ruled with wisdom and justice, using his mysterious powers to protect the village and ensure its prosperity. As king, Emeka worked tirelessly to improve the lives of his people. He used his knowledge of the forest to teach them new ways of farming and hunting. He established a system of justice, where disputes were settled fairly and quickly. And he used his powers to defend the village against any threats that may arise. The villagers loved and respected Emeka, and they prospered under his rule. They would often gather around him, listening in awe as he told stories of his adventures and shared his wisdom. Emeka's legend grew, and people from neighboring villages would come to seek his counsel and blessing. But despite his newfound status, Emeka never forgot his humble beginnings. He remained humble and kind, always willing to listen and help those in need. And though he wore the crown of a king, he knew that his true power came from within, from the mysterious energy that coursed through his veins. Years passed, and Emeka's kingdom flourished. The villagers lived in peace and prosperity, and they looked up to Emeka as a symbol of hope and strength. And Emeka, the mysterious stranger who had once been chased away from his community, knew that he had found his true home, and that he would rule his kingdom with wisdom and justice for many years to come. The villagers would often tell stories of Emeka's bravery and wisdom, and the legend of the mysterious stranger who became a king would live on for generations to come. And Emeka, sitting on his throne, would smile, knowing that he had found his place in the world, and that he would always be remembered as a hero and a king. As the sun set over the kingdom, Emeka would look out at the villagers, and he would feel a sense of pride and gratitude. He knew that he had been given a great gift, the gift of leadership and wisdom. And he vowed to use that gift to make his kingdom a better place, a place where people could live in peace and prosperity.